Hello and welcome to the Just One Baby podcast. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC 325, which is headlined by Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes. It's for their rematch. Volk obviously getting the better of the first fight and winning the decision. There's a bunch of names I can't pronounce. There's a bunch of Chinamen on the card, so I'm going to be butchering the names. And some of them I haven't looked too in depth because they've got a handful of fights. And yeah, it's road to UFC, and I'm breaking down UFC here. So I'll have a few takes, but nothing too in-depth on those. Okay, let's get into it. So using Tapology, as always, first fight of the night, I said I was going to butcher the names. Namsari Abat Bayar against Aaron Teu, the guy with the face tats. I'm fading the guy with the face tats. I think that the fight he had with Elijah was a good indication of how this is going to go. I know that Elijah is much better than Bat Bayer. But Bat Bayer, he just wants the takedown. He doesn't throw hands. He's going to clinch straight away on face tats. He's going to get him down, and then he's going to look for the sub. He puts the body triangle in, I like that. I don't think he's going to get his submission in round one, but I do think he's going to dominate, maybe even a 10-8. I think he's going to wrestle fuck Tau. And yeah, unlike Elijah, who gassed in the Dana White Contender Series, I guess I'm just banking on this Bat Bayer guy and not to gas. Maybe he wins the decision. Maybe he gets the sub in round 2-3 when Tau gets tired, because Tau did get tired in the Elijah fight. It's just that Elijah literally death gassed and Tau was able to, kind of walk him down and throw some output out there. So yeah, I think Bat Bayer gets it done through wrestling, dominates round one, then round 2-3 just does enough. So yeah, you could say this is going to be an attritional fight. It's going to be a cardio based. It's whether the Chinese guy's cardio is going to hold up. He's primarily a round one finisher, or he get death gases and Tau knocks him out in round 2-3, or even submits him. Okay, next up we have Sulang Rangbo against Louis. I'm taking Rangbo. He is only 20. That was alarming. And then I seen that he started fighting in 21, which made him like 16 or something, super young. One of his fights I watched on YouTube, I really liked. It went to decision, but in like the last minute, he showed some violence. He threw down. Basically, I just think he's got a violent streak in him. So it doesn't worry me that he's so young, that he's still only a kid here. Lou, I don't like. He's square on from City Kickboxing. Doesn't have ground game, but Rangbo doesn't really take people down either. So it's going to be a striking affair. I just think Rangbo has he has more kicks. Lou doesn't really throw kicks, and he has the faster hands. And I think this is going to be a case of Lou just trying to track him down, get frustrated, and just Lou chasing basically, and Rangbo being able to be slicker and probably wins the decision here. Next up, we have Zale against Nakamura. I don't know. I don't care. I'd guess Nakamura. Because he's younger, got the metrics, but Zale has the experience and he seems to be more well-rounded. But I don't want to know. Who cares? I'm not looking into it. Official pick Nakamura through no rhyme or reason. Next up, Ma Fan against Uk Kim. Taking Kim, the lines come in. I got a good number, good CLV. I seen the way the line was going. I think it's a similar fight to the first one, but here both guys like to wrestle. Fan is going to shoot immediately, but I think Kim is he's more composed. When I see Fan, if he doesn't get his way, if he's not the hammer, he kind of like panics a bit. He's been finished twice, and yeah, it was kind of a case of him not getting what he wanted, just coming up to someone who was able to big brother him. I don't say Kim's going to be able to big brother him, but he's kind of okay everywhere. And I see Fan just being a bit one-dimensional with the wrestling and the grappling. And yeah, I'm looking at Fan's record now. He's only been sub once back in 16. So yeah, I like that for him. And then Fan, he's only had 10 fights, lost 2 of them. And his level of competition is poor. So yeah, I'm trusting Kim to get it done, negate the grappling of Fan, and get the dub as the dog. Next up, we have the actual card. We have Offley against Yizhat. I'm taking Yizhat. I'm taking the sub because the line is wide. It's 420. Neymar being able to take the back of Offley was concerning when I watched tape. Neymar is not a good jiu-jitsu guy, hence not getting the finish. If Yizhat gets there, he's going to transition to the arm or take the rear naked choke. I think sub's a great number for somebody when it's their win condition. I know he knocked out Wilson in the last fight, but it only takes, a swift breeze to knock over Wilson. The guy's chinny as hell. So yeah, I'd like Yiza to get it done and by submission. It could be round 2, and they have a feeling out round. But Offley, he's not much good of anything. He got a win in his last fight against Ramos, but I don't know what's happening with that guy. He's been literally subbed by everybody, and he's supposed to be this BJJ black belt. Anyway, Yiza to get it done. Submission, great number. Next up, we have Metcalf against Elliott. I like Elliott in this one. My only worry is that this is the X factor in this fight for me. Metcalf should be able to sub him if they get into transitions, but his cardio is so bad, it's put me off betting it at plus 700. Yeah, his cardio is bad, Metcalf. It kind of reminds me of Paddy striking that we saw with Garfield, where it's just basic, no technique. He got knocked out in one of his fights, Metcalf, if you go and watch that. And yeah, he just doesn't like it when people press him when they get into boxing range in the phone booth. He likes it at range, like in his debut, where he was able to throw out the kick and keep it a slow pace. But you put the pace on him, and Elliott does that. He's a grinder. He's not much good at anything, but he's a meat and potatoes guy. He'd take you down, throw something on the feet. He's serviceable, but not great at anything. Yeah, Elliott could win this for attrition in round 2, 3, even get a TKO. I think he's going to probably have a competitive round 1, and then Elliott runs away with it. My only worry is Metcalf by submission. He's a decorated black belt. He's slick with it. Triangles, arm bars. I've seen the tape. He is a dangerous jiu-jitsu guy. So yeah, Elliott's the pick, but watch out for that sub. Next up, we have Malkoun against Finney. I think Malkoun wins this one on paper and all day, and the rest of it. The only reason I'm not betting him and I'm interested in Finney and the KO is that back injury. 2 years off. On his post on Instagram, he's talking about, I was never supposed to walk again. It's like he's trying to show the doctors that he can prove them wrong or whatever. I just think that's a huge red flag. I need to see him in a fight post back surgery before I bet him again. I want to know that it's the same Malkoun. And even the same old Malkoun, what was he? A grinder, didn't have hands. He literally grinds people and he was good at it. But Finney can do that too. He gets the label boring, but he's a grinder. So they're kind of going head to head here, and whoever can implement their will. I'll go for the younger guy, the black guy who's built like a fire hydrant against the guy who's coming off fucking back surgery, man. No brainer to me. Next up, Cam Rowson against Cody Brundage. We're going with Cam. I kind of like submission, but I don't know. I kind of like Cody by submission with that guillotine plus 1,300. Cam does leave his neck exposed when he goes for takedowns. And people forget, yeah, he's been knocking people out, but he is primarily a jiu-jitsu guy if you watch the tape, He's a big fella. He's on the steroids. Physique looks a bit suspect to me. Brundage is Brundage. He thinks he's hot shit since he's had his fucking hair transplant done in Turkey. He's got some swag about him, but he's a little weasel. Hope he loses. He's guillotine or bust in this fight, in my opinion, but he can get it. Cam is nothing special. He's hyped off these last KO wins that he's been getting. But yeah, maybe either by submission, maybe Cam by decision. I don't know. They're my looks. They're my takes. Next up, we have Taffa against Ali Kana. Billy should sub him. For some reason, I don't think it's going to happen. It seems too obvious. Taffa, white belt, what can you say? Grappling. This is binary as it gets. Billy wants to stand. He's going to give Taffa a chance to knock him out with a superior kickboxing. Or you can take him down, maybe get a ground and pound at the better number, but there should be a sub in round 1 all day. Not much to write home about. Next up, we have Salkid against Malarkey. I understand the hype on Salkid, kind of. He gets a fluke knockout on Naz, gets his head kick. And I think that's hyped him up. Malarkey coming in on short notice. He has been regressing a lot in his fights, but he doesn't get subbed. Salkid is a sub guy. I know he knocked out an Indian fella and he knocked out Naz with the fluke head kick, but he is primarily a sub guy. You go watch him on Dana White Contender Series, and that's his game. Takes people down, looks for the submission, and it's rinse and repeat. Gets tired in round 3, but he can push through it. He is young, good gas tank, good lungs, good cardio. But I suppose when you're pushing the pace like he did in the Dana White Contender Series, anyone's going to fucking slow down when you've got that high pace. So yeah, the pace might be something here. Malarkey on short notice, maybe he's the one who looked like shit in round 3 and gets subbed. So I might look at Salkid sub round 3 just to have a poke in the fight. But I don't know, man. I think he is being hyped a bit too much. Minus 1,000 against the vet in Malarkey because he knocked out an Indian and fucking KO'd Nasrat. I don't know. Seems wild to me. Next up, we have Tai Tuivasa against Texera. Texera coming back, got knocked out in his last fight, chin up in the air. Very amateur, but I think Ty's done. He was weighing like 400 pounds not too long ago, looking like absolute shit. Wearing a knee brace in training, someone posted in the Discord. Yeah, he's got some brewery company, made millions in the UFC. I think he's on his way out. But yeah, he's a brawler, got a puncher's chance, and it's heavyweight, so he's live. But I like the angle of Texera by submission. He is a black belt. He does have a couple of submissions on his record, and he is always training in the gi. And Ty's a white belt, so plus 950. I'm interested. That's the angle I'm looking at. There's no value anywhere else. Fiziev against Ruffy. This is just a striking affair to me. This is high fiving. This is showboating. A very close fight. I think 9 times out of 10 it goes to split decision. It's 1-1 going into the third, and we don't know who's won. Both technical. I think Fiziev is the more technical striker, to be fair. But in close margins, I don't hate a shot on either of these guys. I think the odds reflect it. I'm not getting involved. I can barely pick a winner. If you put a gun to my head, I'm going to tell you Fiziev, but I don't know. Next up, Dan Hooker against Benoit, taking Benoit by KO. I don't think he gets the submission. I don't think his transitions are slick enough. I think his submissions come when people give up. Dan isn't going to give up. Probably feels a bit shit about giving up the sub to Armin. You know, that was a bit weak. I don't think he does the same again with Benoit, and I don't think Benoit's wrestling's the same as the likes of Armin. But I do think he dominates Dan. I think there's a lot of scar tissue on Dan. I don't think Dan's training. I don't think Dan's taking it seriously. You know, he's goofing around. And yeah, maybe scar tissue, maybe an accumulation of strikes on the ground. Benoit just don't stop, and I don't think Dan's got much to fend him off apart from that guillotine. Tried to get it on Armin, tried to get it on Turner. That would be something, man. Dan guillotine. We seen with Benoit in the Poirier fight. You know, he nearly got guillotine there. He does leave his neck exposed. Next up, on the main event, we have Alexander Volkanovski against Diego Lopes. I had a big bet on Volk in the first fight. I think it was a max bet, to be honest. It was like 8 units, something like that. It worried me. It was a sweat. You know, every time his chin got clipped, he got fucking dropped a couple of times. I was thankful Diego didn't do much of anything. He had 2 rounds in him and then went into autopilot. I think he's learned from it. I think there's many factors in this fight. Volk in his £4 million farm made tons of money. All them short notice fights, he was getting like 1.5 probably every time. Fighting Islam, main event, late notice in Australia, saving the card for the UFC. He's got bank. His physique looks different. He's chinny. I felt I got lucky in the last fight against Volk. The UFC like Lopes, you know, setting this up again. He's bigger. I think he's learning and he'll adapt, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, basically a patching of the torch. I'm on Lopes big time. Yeah, I think he hurts Volk. I think he finishes him. I think it's probably a sub. I think it's likely a guillotine. Could be a club and sub. But yeah, I just think hardware matters. Volk's been in many wars, many fights. And yeah, maybe time to retire, man. Go on the farm, do your cooking show and the rest of it, and let Lopes tear up the division like he was tearing up Grasso. Boom. Yeah, they're the bets. Good luck with it. If you want mine, link in the bio. $12 a month. Access to the Discord, the Patreon. We bet everything else. Talk fights all week, yada yada. Yeah, good luck with it. Peace out.